This is Why Am I a Mets Fan, a podcast hosted by Samantha Croston and Ashley Wenskoski.
I don't know how they keep doing it, but the Dodgers are headed back to the World Series. Hi, everyone. Welcome into another edition of the Why Am I a Mets Fan podcast. That's Ashley Wenskoski. I'm Samantha Croston, and we are two Syracuse-based sports reporters. Thanks so much for being here. We're joining you after Shohei Ohtani had arguably one of the best postseason performances in Major League Baseball history. He had 3 home runs. He threw 6.1 shutout innings, and he struck out 10 batters. Legendary.
I have something to say.
I know you do. That's why we're here.
Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is where you live. It's 11:49 on the East Coast, by the way, and we just filmed high school football for 5 hours for a real job. Anyway, I have something to say. I knew, you know you get these feelings in sports. Shohei Ohtani was going to have a moment where he came out and proved everybody wrong. I mean, not to say prove wrong, right? Because the guy's like a multiple-time MVP. All right, Shohei Ohtani has proved himself already. But he was going to have a moment this postseason where he proved the whole Ohtani's slumping, Ohtani's a non-factor, look, the Dodgers can do it without Ohtani. You just knew he was going to have a breakout game where he put all those rumors to rest. And boy, what a choice he made to do it tonight in Game 4 of this series and to send the Dodgers to the World Series. I mean, this is unbelievable stuff. I know we say it all the time. We talk about it all the time. We make the comparisons all the time to Babe Ruth and whoever else, iconic baseball, pieces throughout history. What Shohei Ohtani is doing right now, we probably will not see again in our lifetimes.
I think, to say that it's unprecedented is an understatement. I think when all is said and done, when you look at Ohtani's career from start to finish, there are some people who would tell you and have no doubt in saying he is the best player to ever step on a baseball diamond right now. But I really feel in my heart that by the time his career is over, I'm not sure there will even be a debate anymore. That is the kind of thing that I am seeing from Shohei Ohtani. I'm not saying that because we have a Dodger audience. I'm not saying that because I know who's listening. I'm saying that because that is really how I feel. Forget about having a performance like that. But to do that in the playoffs, when the bright lights are on, when the pressure is there, and by the way, not that this particularly matters, but it wasn't just like home runs. It was freaking moonshots. One of them was like out of the stadium. The kind of stuff he's doing is just something where I think that you just think in your head, baseball is such a powerful sport, and this is the reason why we watch and cover sports, because it brings people together. I feel honored to be able to watch the things that he is doing with my own eyes.
To breathe the same air as Shohei Ohtani. Those home runs, by the way, when it combined 1,342 feet tonight.
That's what I'm saying.
You want to talk about moonshots, but I just think it's crazy because sometimes I think we're almost desensitized to it, right? Like we know Ohtani's great, Dodgers fans know Ohtani's great, baseball fans know Ohtani's great, but like, do you understand how hard it is to perform, to not only be a two-way player, but perform at an MVP caliber, Cy Young caliber, batting champion caliber level at both of those things? Like, I don't even have the words for not only how difficult that is, but at how easy he makes it look. I know, some years he's been missing pieces of his game. He didn't pitch last year, injury, all that stuff. To do both at the same time.
On the same night.
The guy is out there pitching shutout ball into the 7th inning, striking out 10 hitters on the Brewers, and then he's going up in each at-bat. He's tanking one over the wall. Like, what are we doing?
Shutty. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Ashley comes down at one point and the TV is on. I'm working in the sports office. She's working upstairs. And I realized that the Brewers have scored approximately 1 run, and it wasn't even off of Ohtani. I'm like, hold on a minute. I just cannot believe what I am witnessing with my own eyes. Beyond Shohei Ohtani, which I have to say, this was incredible, and we are going to be talking about it for a long, long time. History tonight in a few ways.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I'm going to say it. If I was a Brewers fan right now, there is not a damn thing you could say to console me. Do not talk to me because I am on Do Not Disturb if I am a Brewers fan. What a lifeless performance.
I said it a couple days ago. I will say it again. The Brewers were the New York Mets of 2025. The 2024 New York Mets and the 2025 Milwaukee Brewers, handshake. Best team in baseball down the stretch. They have so much momentum going. The Brewers were probably a better team this year all around. The Mets sort of went on a magical run at the end of last year. But they have all the momentum. They're like the scrappy team that isn't supposed to be there. You don't even know half the lineup, but they make it work, and they get to the NLCS, and they ran into the same exact buzzsaw that is the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Brewers had the same experience that the Mets had last year with facing the Dodgers in the NLCS. I mean, the Mets at least won one game.
Right.
The Brewers didn't even win at all.
Right. And I sit here truly at a loss for words when I look at what occurred here. The Dodgers won game 1, 2-1, game 2, 5-1, game 3, 3-1, and, game 4, obviously tonight, 5-1. I am perplexed, I think. I'm honestly at this point a little bit confused. I understand that the Dodgers are a complete team. I understand that the Dodgers have one of the most, if not the most talented rosters in baseball. But considering how much parity is in this sport, I'm kind of at a loss for words. Like, if you were a Dodgers fan throughout this postseason run, did you have to stand up even one time? Did you have to pace across any room? There were legitimately no nerves. The ESPN graphic may as well have just put 100% chance that the Dodgers are going to win. Like, it was literally in the plus, I think, the entire time, besides it started at like the Brewers' 51% chance. And then after that, just up for the Dodgers. Like, you don't even know pain and suffering this year or the past few years. Come on.
Listen, guys, I'm so sorry.
They can't keep getting away with this.
I'm so sorry. And you do deserve it, because the Dodgers haven't been a perennial powerhouse in baseball, right? One of the game's oldest franchises, most historical. They deserve it. They've been through some things. But Dodgers fans, you're spoiled. Like, the last few years, you are just dead set spoiled. You go into these series, you don't even have to really break a sweat. This year, it's like, oh my God, the Dodgers aren't as good. They might have to play in a wild card series. And then they still do the same exact thing in the playoffs. How often do we sit here and say it? Nothing matters besides what you do in the month of October, if you get to the month of October. And the Dodgers keep proving that right time and time again. Ohtani, by the way, just won NLCS MVP after doing really a whole lot of not much in the first 3 games. I think he did have like an RBI in there somewhere, but wow, this performance tonight earned him that MVP. And just what the players are saying, whatever. I mean, Mookie Betts said, quote, "We're like the Bulls and he's Michael Jordan." Dave Roberts, the Dodgers manager, had like the sauciest, I don't want to say cocky because he deserves to say it, but the sauciest quote of all time. MLB Network is interviewing him after they just won. He goes, quote, "They said the Dodgers were ruining baseball. Let's get 4 more wins and really ruin baseball." I mean, that just put me in a cold sweat if I play or root for any other team in the league.
I'm going to have a nightmare about that tonight.
No, that's scary.
That goes so hard, honestly.
Like, I don't know where he cooked that up, but phenomenal.
Wait, one thing about Dave Roberts, he was hearing the rumblings about what was going on.
Yeah.
He was hearing about his team. And I get it if you're a Dodgers fan and you're thinking, like, ruining the game of baseball. What other, imagine it was us. I'm just saying, imagine it was us and the Mets were going to potentially win back-to-back World Series. Do you earnestly think that we'd be sitting here on this podcast saying that's going to ruin baseball? Like, come on.
No. Well, and what I just said, I just came across another stat. Most World Series appearances now, with this updated, the Dodgers are now appearing again. Yankees 41, Dodgers 23, Giants 20. So they have the second most World Series appearances in the history of the game. And they deserve it, right? They deserve it this year. If you are a fan of any other team, not only in the National League first and foremost, because you got to get through them to even get to the World Series, but in baseball at all, if you're the Brewers, if you're the Mets, if you're any other team in the NL that wants to have a fighting shot for the next 5 to 10 years, you look at this Dodger team and you're like, what are we going to do?
That's the problem. And I think it's funny because, you know, when I think about battling and what the Dodgers have had to do versus what other teams have had to do, I mean, the Phillies flop, you know what I mean?
If you're the Phillies, but
if you're really looking back, is my point, you think about, you know, Toronto and Seattle, even right now. I mean, back and forth.
Battling it out.
Battling.
Great series.
Right? Amazing series. Seattle leads 3-2. I feel like in all reality, it's going to a Game 7, right? It just has that sort of feel to it. And I just look at the Dodgers and I just sit here completely dumbfounded at how easily they steamrolled every single team that they faced. You cannot convince me that they're not going to go back and win another World Series again. You can't convince me of that right now.
Because you also look at the
It's
way
inevitable.
that they've done it. I know they haven't won it yet, so everybody's going to be like, don't jinx them. All right, fine. You look at the way they've even gotten there. This year, Dodgers team, many of the same players, many of the same pieces, but different strategy. This year they have the pitching that they didn't have last year. Pitching wins championships. Well, last year they didn't have the pitching and they still won the championship. I just think it's so remarkable how not only they've gotten back there now, but with such ease. And I really, really pity the team from the American League that is going to have to go face them. The Toronto-Seattle series is fantastic. It's been back and forth. But here's the thing. I said at the beginning of this, I said on day one of this postseason that the New York Mets were not a part of, that the Mariners were my team because there's a lot of good people over in Seattle. They've never won a World Series and they've never been there. I still feel that. I would like them to win this ALCS. I'm a big Mariners person right now. But if you're a fan of the Seattle Mariners, or the Blue Jays for that matter, it's like you got like one hand, you're like covering your eyes. It's like, well, this is great if we win the ALCS. Like, would love to go to the World Series, but like the Dodgers are like the looming dark cloud thunderstorm on the other side of that.
The thing is, if you're a Mariners fan and you're just feeling grateful and you're just happy to be
You
there.
don't have time to be happy to be there.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
there is no time for an attitude of gratitude, y'all.
No.
We are going to have to just put that in our back pockets and save it for a rainy day because you need to really get into the spirit of things here.
There's a storm.
I need a little urgency from whoever is coming out of this ALCS, if for no other reason than to prove to me, as a Mets fan, that it's possible. Can someone show me that there's hope? Can someone give me a little bit of light? Relax. I'm not saying I don't want the Dodgers to win the World Series. You guys all understand, though, based on the title of this podcast, where we lie as far as our fandom. So I just am curious to see, can anyone, when it really matters, when it really counts, beat this Dodgers team? Because damn, if you are, like you said, a team in the National League, knowing what kinds of contracts they have over there, it's just like, oh, brother, this is going to be a long few years here.
A long few years. And for what it's worth, I do think, which I could be completely wrong about this in 2 weeks' time, but I do think whoever comes out of the ALCS will challenge the Dodgers a little bit
Same.
more. Both of those teams now, they've had to fight and claw to win this 7-game series, whoever comes out on top. I do think that the World Series will be a better matchup, but we sat here and we did also say that about the Brewers. Now everybody is just going to forget, much like the New York Mets last year, what the Brewers went through to get here and what a phenomenal season they had and what a great job Pat Murphy did in the whole 9 yards, because they just met the Dodgers and just got smoked. They were non-competitive. They did not have a prayer in that series.
Smoked.
By the way, we talk about Pat Murphy a lot because he's a native of Syracuse, New York. I came across if you're just a baseball fan, I know everybody listening to this is a Dodgers fan, but maybe if you want to do some extra celebrating, I came across a really, really good article for The Athletic, the New York Times Athletic, about Pat Murphy's life. Learned a lot about that man that I did. He has gone through a lot to get where he
Really?
is. So check out that article.
Okay, I certainly will. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think with the Brewers, my last note on that would be, if anything, that just had me feeling a little bit disheartened, because that really was the team where you felt like they were clawing and fighting, small market, but they have sort of this big bark and this big attitude. And then they get here and it was just so truthfully disappointing.
Yeah.
And I think below the standard that anyone who's a Brewers fan would want to see, that it just makes you wonder whether it's the Mariners or the Toronto Blue Jays, will either of those teams really be able to compete? But I guess we'll find that answer out. And quite honestly, if I had to pick one team that I'd prefer to play the Dodgers, just from the standpoint of what would be the best matchup here, I do actually think it's the Mariners. I do.
Yeah, I do too. And that'd be fun for the West Coast. That'd be fun for the whole, but then the other side of me is like, oh, the poor Mariners. I don't want to send them into that fire, that storm.
I have to say, if in any world the Toronto Blue Jays go into the series and beat the Dodgers, you are going to owe a few people an apology.
No, all right, I'm going to tell everybody right now, if you've been listening to this podcast for the last year, I said some things about the Blue Jays that were not positive in the offseason. I said The Blue Jays never win. I said they never get any free agents. I will clip all of those moments together if and only if the Blue Jays beat the Dodgers in the World Series. Thanks for coming.
On behalf of this podcast, I'd like to apologize. That was not who I am.
Accountable. I will be accountable. Detailed. Accountable.
Relentless, tough.
Yeah.
If you know, you know if you're in Syracuse. Final thoughts, and then we'll get out of here.
Final thoughts. I mean, hats off to the Dodgers, man. You can't take anything away from them. Fantastic stuff. If you're a Dodgers fan, celebrate tonight. Obviously, you can't just automatically look at the World Series as a W because I think that will be a great series as well. But celebrate tonight because, man, who had the Dodgers doing this in this fashion once again?
I agree. The last thing I'll say is, man, when I think about a guy like Shohei Ohtani, I just think this is the kind of stuff that rejuvenates a sport like baseball, that brings in new, younger fans from all different places across the world who might not have been as interested in baseball if there wasn't such a high-powered superstar in the game. So thanks to him for that and a whole lot of other things. Thanks so much to you all for being here as always. We really appreciate it. Be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. It really helps us out when you do that. Otherwise, we'll see you back here when the next big thing happens. Congratulations, Dodgers. We'll see you next time.